Now from WATN, it's Local 24 This Week with Richard Ransom.
Welcome to Local 24 This Week, the one place you can trust every Sunday to bring you the real story behind the big stories. First up this morning will be Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland. We'll get to him in a moment, but first our other topics today. The coal ash mess. The TVA tells the county commission our drinking water is safe despite arsenic and other toxins seeping into the ground from a coal ash pond from its mothballed power plant. Is the TVA moving fast enough to clean it up? Memphis 3.0. The city council pushed it back 30 days after a vocal group of opponents criticized the plan as genocide. But what we've learned about the most vocal opponent has some questioning her real motives. And lawmakers in Nashville moving forward on all kinds of legislation affecting our part of the state. We'll break down some of the more consequential, shall we say. But first, let me introduce to you Mayor Jim Strickland, who's here. We appreciate you so much taking some time out to be with us. Let's start with the campaign. Obvious question, I guess, but we're about 6 months out here, and I just want to get your assessment of how you see the field and how it's shaping up. You have, what is it, we're up to 4 other folks who are running, and what are your thoughts going forward?
Well, there may be more people running. I don't know. I'm not going to take anything for granted. I feel very good about it. We're going to campaign on our record, which is thousands more jobs, more things for young people to do, universal pre-K, a net increase of police officers, a real focus on public safety, doubling the paving budget, improving city services, and building momentum in Memphis. And I think most people in Memphis feel that momentum, that we're heading the right direction. You know, the criticism is that the folks who are feeling the momentum most are those who live along the Poplar Corridor, and that it's not reaching into Fraser or North Memphis or South Memphis or parts of Whitehaven. Your response to that, and what are you going to do about it? Well, I think most Memphians understand that in 3 years, I could not fix decades of neglect in every single neighborhood in Memphis, and that's why we did Memphis 3.0. Memphis 3.0 is going to give us, for the first time in 40 years, a roadmap of how do we spur development in every neighborhood. Because I agree, I've been the leading voice saying that when you look at downtown and midtown and certain parts of Memphis, you literally see the momentum. And I think everyone supports that. But how do we get every neighborhood to feel some of that growth? Memphis 3.0 is that plan. In fact, we've already built on Memphis 3.0 for the Community Catalyst Fund, where we're going to put money into these neighborhoods that you talk about to spur development, because government does not direct where development should go. But what we can do is improve the quality of life, improve the service level, and make an area more enticing for private investment, and that's the road we're traveling. Perhaps, though, the most vocal critic, Dr. Carnita Atwater, who we've done some stories on this week, and we'll get to that in a moment, but where I think she's really finding a voice is this thinking that the city is more concerned about adding bike lanes to our neighborhood than actual real development, real jobs that people can hold on to and make a living, make a decent wage. Is that a misunderstanding of what 3.0 is about, or should the city be doing more in this plan? Well, first of all, that's a complete untruth. We've created thousands of jobs in Memphis already, including J&J Trucking in the Fox Meadow area with 600 new good-paying jobs. 1,200 jobs keeping with ServiceMaster, 1,800 new jobs at St. Jude, FedEx Logistics moving their headquarters, 250 more jobs, Mimeo, 300 new jobs, and Indigo Ag, 700 new jobs. Those are jobs anyone in the city can have, and there's thousands of jobs open right now with free workforce development. Memphis is a city of opportunity. Don't let anyone fool you. You can get free community college, free tech schools, and take one of those good-paying thousands of jobs open right now. Companies cannot fill all the job openings that they have. I met with a company the other day. They're looking for machinists paying $19.50 an hour plus benefits. They can't hire enough, even though you can go to Southwest Community College or the Tennessee College of Applied Technology for free and get a degree to be a machinist. We've got to put people need to stop complaining and start getting our young people to take advantage of the opportunities that we do have. Now, we're out there trying to push for more opportunities, and that's why we've created Memphis 3.0 and the Community Catalyst Fund and build on this momentum, because momentum's not good enough. We need to accelerate it.
But, I mean, you've been to New Chicago and neighborhoods like it in Memphis. You know, a lot of those folks, they can't even get out of the neighborhood unless they're on a city bus, and we know the problems with our public transportation. If that is your environment, and that's all you see day in and day out, it's easy to see why there would be some resentment toward the growth and jobs that are coming in other parts of the city that you can't even get to, perhaps.
Well, that's why we're the first administration to come up with a transit plan that's real and substantive, and we're working with the county to try to better, for the first time ever, get into the funding business. Thankfully, Mayor Harris and the County Commission have voiced openness to funding transit for the first time ever, and we can have a real transit system for the first time ever. So we have real concrete plans in the works to try to spread this momentum. And people understand, after 3 years, you can't solve decades worth of societal problem, but we are heading the right direction and people feel it.
Still, you still have this feeling that it's not fast enough. You know that's going to be a main argument of Tammy Sawyer and probably Willie Harrington too. What's your response to that feeling that it could be faster in those parts of town?
Everything I've just said. And believe me, I'm in all parts of this community, more than any candidate, and I will continue to be in every part of this community. People understand that Memphis is heading the right direction, that there are thousands of job opportunities out there, that we need to have a better transit system. Who's been leading that charge? Our administration. Who's been leading the charge to have a development plan for every neighborhood in the city? Our administration. We're the only one with concrete plans and a success record to run on, and that's what I'm going to be running on.
Let me ask you about something that I don't think we are moving fast enough on, and that is this possibility of switching power sources for MLGW. You know better than most folks probably what the other options are, but we do know as we remind folks that we're looking at possibly $400 million in savings, which could mean a huge difference to lots of communities and for Memphis and the things that we'd be able to pursue and how we'd be able to grow. It seems like the formation of a committee just delays this even more. My understanding is that if we just picked up the phone and called MISO, which is the nonprofit consortium that could provide us power, that we could qualify for some advanced bond money within 6 months, as soon as 6 months. Well, every day we're losing $1 million as long as this drags on. Do you feel that, or it seems
well,
like
whoever told you that is ignorant of law. Government is governed by law. We cannot just simply move from one supplier to the other. There's a whole process called bidding that you have to put things out for bid. It's not up to the whims of the mayor. You have to put it out for bid, and you have to pick the best bid. You can't pick it just based on who you like or who's your friend. So you have to put it out for bid. But we need to, this is a huge issue, huge, but we need to aggressively look at these potential savings. And that's not been done yet. So we're going to call in all these groups, all the 4 groups who've studied this, and show these hundreds of millions of dollars of potential savings. And also look at how much would it cost to put the infrastructure in. Right now we get all our infrastructure from TVA. Is there any additional costs that might eat into those savings? We will aggressively look at all these options, and we'll do what's in the best interest of the ratepayer.
Well, to clarify, when I say pick up the phone, it doesn't mean you change when you do that, but you at least let other sources know we're interested. We're not making any commitments. We're still with TVA. We're not giving them their 5-year notice or any of that stuff, but we are wanting to at least pursue this.
Oh, I've absolutely done that. I've met with MISO. I've met with ACES. I met with ACES just about a week ago. All these parties are interested in doing business. I've got a meeting set up soon with another group that did one of the studies in a more of a green energy group that is interested in it. So we are definitely meeting with them. We are definitely interested. And when I say we're going to aggressively look at all these options, we are. We take this very seriously. No matter what direction we go, we will look at it seriously, and we're going to do it in an open, transparent way so the public knows what we're doing is the right thing.
What is your timeline when you'd like to have some kind of recommendation or whatever from this committee?
Well, I think getting all this together will take a few months, and then the next step would be putting it out for bid, because that would be the end result of any kind of study. Put it out for bid and see, it's one thing to tell you can save $400,000. It's another thing to commit to it in a contract.
Okay, so all right, very good. So hopefully by the end of the year, is that fair to say?
I think that's fair to say.
All right, so the other issue involving TVA is this coal ash pond in southwest Memphis. It's been sitting there, 3.5 cubic trillion tons, but it's lots of coal ash. And it's there's concern that it could threaten our aquifer, which means so much to the health of this city. This week we learned the TVA told the Shelby County Commission that now they're looking at perhaps a 9-year cleanup instead of a 20-year cleanup. So they've cut it in half, but some are concerned that's still not fast enough. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. It's not fast enough. It is a serious concern. I don't think it's a serious concern for the short term. I don't think the drinking water that we drink, and frankly, in our lifetime, is going to be affected by that. Because the water underneath the ground, the aquifer, has been there for thousands of years. But we need to be concerned about the long term, and that's why we're the first administration to work with MLG&W and the University of Memphis to do a long-term study of the quality of our water. This is not the only breach in the system that's out there. We know there's at least one out in Fayette County. There's other areas along the Highland Strip. There was a dry cleaner. Y'all did stories about the dry cleaner that's leaking there. The ash is very serious. We need to do a long-term look at that and how do we better protect our water source. It is something that we are blessed with, one of the best water sources in America, in the world, really. We ought to take it seriously, and I don't think 9 years is short enough. I agree with Congressman Cohen. I agree with the County Commission. TVA needs to clean it up quicker. They're the ones who caused the problem. They need to clean it up.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, but I want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Happy Sunday, and good luck on the campaign trail.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.
Everyone who has ever lived has lived here. All of mankind's triumphs and failures. Every moment. Every hometown, all here. We start our coverage on the ground and take it to the airwaves, so you always know what's happening in your own world and beyond. We are free TV and radio. We are breaking news. We are always there. We are broadcasters.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
It's our spring sale at Family Leisure.
Huge savings on patio furniture, pools and spas, fire pits, barbecue islands, grills, and more. Spring sale going on now at Family Leisure.
I'm Local 24 meteorologist Chelsea Chandler. Before you get your kids ready for school each day, make sure you catch my bus stop forecast so they're prepared throughout the day. It's weekdays on Good Day Memphis, 5 to 7.
The bus stop forecast on Good Day Memphis is brought to you by NST. Otis Sanford, get his point of view. Weeknights on Local 24 News at 5.
The experiences, the kind that take your breath away and remind you what it feels like to be alive. Catching a glimpse of life under the sea or on top of the world. Walking in the footsteps of soldiers, legends, and kings. It's a feeling, a connection that can only be made in Tennessee. Start planning at tnvacation.com.
You're watching Local 24 This Week with Richard Ransom.
Back with my roundtable now. Local 24's Mike Matthews and our political analyst Otis Sanford. So let's talk about Memphis 3.0 first. There was some significant reporting from our Jenny DiPrizio this week in which she found that some people question the motives of Dr. Carnita Atwater, who's been this vocal proponent for the new Chicago neighborhood, and even got a delay from City Council on the vote, a 30-day delay on voting for this this plan, which is a long-term, long-range plan for the city and how it should grow. I'm torn on this. I think it's really some, like I said, good reporting, but she does speak for a real contingency that feels very left out in this economic recovery, and you can see why she has a voice. Otis, you first.
Yeah, I do, and I think she even makes a valid point that you don't have to live in a neighborhood to care about a neighborhood. I get that, but I do think obviously the story is a valid story because credibility is a key point here. And if she's questioning Memphis 3.0 just because her plans and her vision for the city, either giving her or practically giving her property to do what she wants to do, the fact that they didn't do that, she's upset now and she's going after this. That's a valid thing for people to look at and evaluate themselves.
And when you hear about the plans for a 5-star resort,
right,
with zip lines and and mud huts and llama rides,
right?
This needs to be
a dose of right.
Yeah. What do you make of it, Mike?
Well, there were questions about her when she first came on board here in this, because a lot of folks in City Hall have never heard of her. And she came on as this long-time activist in New Chicago. Look, as far as living in Germantown, hey, the good Lord gave you enough money to live in Germantown. By all means, you go live in Germantown. But don't expect a lot of folks to be listening to you because you're not paying Memphis taxes there now in that house. And so, in fact, I think at City Council for a time, there used to be a policy of if you didn't live in Memphis, you didn't get to speak at Memphis City Council meetings. So there's going to be some animosity there.
And question, did the good Lord give her that house? Because she's has a judgment against her to repay $2 million to the estate of the woman she was caregiving for.
That's exactly right. There are an awful lot of questions here. But let's face it, as well as Otis said, you look at the history. I came here, 21 years ago. As an outsider, I could drive into neighborhoods and see where the money was being spent. I had no idea of the history. I had no background at all. But driving down the street, I could see where money was going into this neighborhood. When I was over there on the north side, I could see nothing was going on over there at all. And it's still that way today. So this happens. She makes a valid point. This has happened. It's happened for decades. And the best thing that could happen out of this is people are called, attention has been called to it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't see anything wrong even with the city council delaying it for another 30 days. I think Tuesday was the second time they had done that. But I think that's prudent because I think it's important to hear all voices. To go slowly and very methodically about this. I mean, you're not in a rush. The 3.0 is about aspirations in a lot of ways anyway. So you're not going to bring earth movers out there next week if you pass it. So I think that part is prudent. But again, I think this story is a legitimate story for people to evaluate her credibility, the motivation behind it, and to look at what really the North Memphis area of New Chicago really needs. I don't think it's a 5-star resort.
Let me ask you about the TVA this week. 2 developments, really. The one is that they say they can clean the coal ash pond in 9 years instead of 20, which we heard the mayor say is still not fast enough. Want to get your thoughts on that, as well as this committee that the mayor and MLGW has formed to look into a different energy source that could result in some significant savings for the folks in Memphis and Shelby County. Mike?
The most serious I've seen them take this issue in a long time. And as I reported earlier in the week, this is going to be the biggest issue with Memphis Light Gas and Water since former Mayor Harrington tried to sell that utility more than 20 years ago, okay? This is a huge deal, and people are taking the sale of trying to get somebody else to provide the electricity. They are taking that seriously. J.T. Young had said, in fact, that he's pulling that advisory committee together right now. They're not wasting time on this. They're going forward full blast. So that's a real important thing. And again, that came about because of what? It came about because of so much debate over raising the rates and not getting anything back in return. Now people are saying maybe we can get the electricity for a better price. That's part of it.
If we could save $400 million a year, not only can you rebuild your infrastructure, but you can probably build a couple of other things too.
Absolutely you can. And as for the coal ash issue, I agree with Mayor Strickland. I don't think, I think 9 years is still insufficient. You ought to be able to get some progress on this sooner than 9 years. And I would really hope that the political pressure, the community pressure, the economic pressure, and the business pressure is applied to get TVA to act a little faster.
One other piece of city business I want to talk about was this loan that the city, emergency loan that the city gave MATA so they can make ends meet, only because of the delays from getting a check basically from Uncle Sam due to the government shutdown. Is this going to turn into more of a problem or nightmare, do you think, for the city, or do you think that is enough money and that's going to cover them until they get the money from the feds?
It should be enough money. It should be. You know,
$7 million.
Years ago, in fact, not that long ago, when I think about it, that they asked for these bridge loans several times from the city because they didn't have enough money. See, MATA does not have a reserve fund. The city did away with reserve funds for several of these groups, and MATA was one of them. So what they have in the bank is what they got. And when it's gone, it's gone. So that's why they had to get this, you know, this what they call a bridge loan. Is it going to be enough? I sure hope so. Also, it's trouble.
Okay, we'll leave it there. When we come back, we're going to talk about some state legislation that will have a direct impact on this part of the state right after this.
Sleep Cheap is having their Sell of the Year event right now. The Queen mattress set for $199, twins starting at $69, and even greater savings on king sizes. Get 60% off Serta and Sealy bedding during the Sell of the Year event. No credit checks and everyone's approved.
Tired of struggling with regular mirrors that don't adjust so you can't get close enough? You need Flexible Mirror, the bendable, light-up magnification mirror that comes to you. Just stick it on and turn the base. The super suction locking mechanism means you can put it on any smooth surfaced place. Lock it onto any mirror, table, or desk, even on a window. The secret is Flexible Mirror's super strong articulating arm that's attached with an ingenious ball and socket so it can swivel and rotate for the perfect angle. The mirror is precision crafted with 10 times magnification and crystal clear optics. You can get Flexible Mirror for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. It comes with our 90-day no questions asked money back guarantee. And we give you free shipping on your entire order. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-710-8164. That's 1-800-710-8164. Or order online at tryflexiblemirror.com.
Save big and transform your home with Champion's Home Makeover Sale. Save 40% on Champion windows backed by our exclusive limited lifetime warranty. You break it, we fix it. Save 35% on sunrooms and siding. Champion's gorgeous sunrooms are a great way to expand your home's living space. Enjoy 12 months, no interest, no payments on these huge savings, like 40% off windows with participation in our Yes program. Don't miss out. Schedule a free in-home quote today. Call 888-930-CHAMPION or go to saveonchampion.now.com.
Sleep Cheap is having their Sell of the Year event right now. The Queen mattress set for $199, twins starting at $69, and even greater savings on king sizes. Get 60% off Serta and Sealy bedding during the Sell of the Year event. No credit checks and everyone's approved.
You're watching Local 24 this week with Richard Ransom.
Some stories out of Nashville with direct impact here that we wanted to address. The first, not necessarily to do with legislation, but state government, and that is we learned this week that 128,000 children were basically kicked off of TennCare this past week. Governor Bill Lee says that he will address this and figure out the problem, but basically it's being blamed on paperwork right now, yet that's a lot of kids to be impacted by some sort of glitch.
Oh, absolutely it is. And I haven't heard that there were other kids from other parts of the state impacted the same way. So, I mean, why is Memphis and Shelby County facing the brunt of this? It's just another example that some people will say you're just going after Memphis again.
Well, even if it is a statewide issue, the very fact that it's TennCare, it's disproportionately going to affect kids here, obviously. And the domestic violence legislation, Mike, this one really has those who are advocates for people who are victims of domestic violence very concerned. There is a state law that says if somebody is convicted of a domestic violence crime, that they have to turn in their guns. That's federal and state. But in Tennessee, you also had to fill out a form that gave proof of the serial number of the guns you were turning in by state law, and now there's a move by a state lawmaker to get rid of the requirement for that form. And folks fear that's going to get rid of the proof that the gun has indeed been surrendered.
Until I hear somebody justify why that's so important to get rid of that form, I'm shocked, because basically law enforcement uses those forms. They use that serial number to finally trace the history of that gun to see if it's been involved in other crimes, other incidents, things like that. It makes no sense whatsoever. But then again, when you think about the legislature in Nashville and the National Rifle Association and the legislation they've put through, a lot of guns bills in this state, haven't made a lot of sense.
Well, there's very interesting investigative journalism this week pointing out that a lot of these groups, NRA and others, basically print out 50 copies of the legislation they want passed. They distribute it to all the state legislatures, and they basically pass the same bill over and over again.
That happens all the time. That happens all the time.
So let's talk about the school vouchers, because that is really Bill Lee hopes that will be a hallmark of his first year in office. And the latest controversy to keep up with this, even though it has made some progress in the state legislature, is this issue of whether children of immigrants will be able to qualify for the school vouchers. And right now they've got wording in there that says no, they can't. Once again, revitalizing that whole controversy.
Absolutely it is, and that's one of the reasons why you have a lot of different people on both sides of the political aisle who are not all that happy about this voucher bill. I know that Betsy DeVos was in Nashville, I think, earlier this week, helping Bill Lee to try to tout this thing. But this bill has a lot of problems, including the immigration issue and including whether public schools are going to be made whole by the money that's going to be drifted away. This thing has not been thought out well enough, in my view.
Well, you know, they did bring in Education Secretary Betsy DeVos this week to, I guess, push for the voucher program. But this was only a few days after she was crucified for having cut all funding to Special Olympics. I don't know, I got 30 seconds left, Mike. I think that kind of backfired a little bit.
Betsy DeVos does not bring a whole lot of sparkle when she comes into town after what's been going on lately. And watch out for Representative John DeBerry from Memphis, who the Democratic Party is angry as can be about that because he voted in favor of this voucher plan. So you could see some ramifications there as well.
He'll have an opponent that you can bet.
That much we know, right? We don't know who it'll be, but we know it'll be. All right, we'll be right back to wrap things up in just a moment.
It's our spring sale at Family Leisure.
Patio furniture, we've got it all. Chat height to bar height and everything in between. Seating for 8 to 10 or more, not a problem. Check out our huge in-stock selection of deep seating and sectional groups. Customizable to fit your space. Make a splash. Pools and spas are priced to move. Save 30% on in-stock pool tables, bars, and other game room items. Fire pits, barbecue islands, and grills also on sale now.
Spring sale going on now at Family Leisure.
I was in a car accident, and I hired a law firm that is always on TV. They had my case for almost a year, but when the insurance company denied my claim, the law firm with the jingles immediately dropped me. I went to the Reeves Law Firm, and they fought for me, and I ended up getting almost $100,000. Reeves Law Firm fought for me when no other firm would.
If you or a loved one have been seriously injured, call us immediately. Let us be your voice.
This is an important hernia mesh alert. If you or a loved one had hernia mesh implanted after 2010 and experienced complications that required a repair or replacement of hernia mesh, don't wait. Call Hernia Mesh Helpline now. You may be entitled to substantial compensation. Hernia mesh implants can cause serious complications that require additional surgery to remove or replace the hernia mesh implant. If you had hernia mesh surgery anytime after 2010 and experienced complications that required a repair or replacement, don't wait. Call the Hernia Mesh Helpline right now.
Oh, there's something so real about living local, about the people and the places where we live. There's a pride around here that's been growing with the years, and I know without a doubt I'm not alone. And I'm loving living local. Local 24 is there for me. The Mid-South is where I love to be.
Well, between the interview with the mayor and what we had to talk about with these two guys, we know we got you fired up over something. So go ahead and email me at rransom@localmemphis.com, rransom@localmemphis.com. We'd love to hear from you. My thanks to my roundtable and to the mayor for being here this Sunday morning, and my thanks to you as well. We'll see you next time for Local 24 this week.